All emotions are biological events. Even when our physical survival is not at risk, our bodies respond as though it were.
I have a knot in my stomach from a little frustration that they're not scoring more or preventing the other team from scoring.
Well, I kind of feel my face getting tense, and then just kind of a pit in my stomach. Hands get sweaty, maybe.
I feel my heart going thud, 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 thud. When you're like sad, you don't have as much energy in you, and then when you're excited, you're like all over the place, laughing your heart out.
You're always feeling it in the pit of your stomach. I mean, if you have any, if you have a son or a daughter that's playing in any athletics, I mean, everything's in the stomach.
The work on physiology and emotion has shifted over the last few decades. When I first became a research psychologist and started working on the emotions, the emphasis physiologically was on the autonomic nervous system, heart rate, blood pressure, skin temperature, and skin sweating. And the attempt was made to try to differentiate the emotions using those kinds of physiological indicators. That attempt yielded mixed results, I think it's fair to say. What we've seen in the late 90s and the early part of this new millennium is a shift, I think, from the autonomic nervous system to the central nervous system. Work really on the brain and on different parts of the brain that seem involved in different kinds of emotional experiences.
The brain shows major signs of arousal and major ways of patterning depending upon the intensity of the emotion that's being registered. The more intense the emotion, the faster the brain waves are. The quality of the emotion is also represented with left frontal brain regions being active principally in states of positive emotion, and right regions principally in times of negative emotion.
It's possible to have a stroke, a massive injury in the frontal lobe on the left side, and as the individual is repaired, recovers from the stroke, it's almost always noticed that this individual has a rather sour, cynical, depressed look on life. On the other hand, if he or she had had the stroke on the right side and began to recover, they more often turn out to be like the little character on the cover of Mad magazine. You know what? Me worry? What's to worry about? The stroke was nothing. So there's a very different take that these two frontal lobe parts show on the world around them.